Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, a new microphone here. Today we have not a breakup story. Actually, this is a question I got from someone after a live coaching session, and we were unpacking his situation with his breakup. And one thing that came up was he was highly attracted to partner. This was a gay relationship, and it was guy with guy, and he basically said that this guy was mysterious. And if you look at a lot of relationship and dating books, being mysterious is often attractive. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you had someone that you dated, man or woman, woman with woman, man with man, woman with man, man with woman, up to you. We're just talking about relationships where they were mysterious and you thought, "Oh, but I do like him. I don't know why. I do like her, but I don't know why." So when we unpacked his breakup situation, I said, actually, this is what's taught in a lot of attraction books. And he was surprised by this. So we're going to get into that today as a topic. Is being mysterious attractive, especially when you first start dating? Obviously, you're not going to be as mysterious when you are official. And what does mysterious mean? So if you like this video after the fact, or like this live stream when it's aired later on, please give me a like. If you don't like it, please don't like it. Have an opinion. It's better than no opinion. Put in the comments down below if you've had a situation where you've been with someone that's quote unquote mysterious and somehow you are more attracted to them and you don't know why. So also, if you want to do a live coaching session with myself, unpack your breakup, your situation, your dating life, please go to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. The link's down in the notes, and we could book a session on FaceTime or Skype and get to the bottom of things. If you don't like the session, I will refund you. So let's get into it today. I don't really have notes for this, but I'm pretty good going off the cuff, and I have an interesting take on this, I think. So the individual's question was, I thought of one more question in regards to the advice you gave during our session. You mentioned that mystery is attractive. When I opened up to, I'm not going to say the individual's name, about my life, did that possibly make him seem unattractive? So this particular situation, what's up, Azam? In this particular situation, this guy, like I said, was in a situation where his family was looking down on him since he was a homosexual. So he had trouble, bringing someone home. So in this particular situation, he opened up immediately and told the guy, look, it's not going to be good. Most likely my parents will have a problem with us. Now, in a heterosexual relationship, this happens also with religion, right? It's very common that someone with religion, what's up, Jasper J? What's up, Azam? Someone with religion or something with their family, you start dating someone and you feel like I'm compelled to tell them something about me that's important that they know before we get deeper. Now, I'll give you another example where you kind of kill the mysterious edge, I suppose. And this is what he was saying. He felt compelled to be honest with this guy. Look, my family's not very open to the fact that, I'm in a same-sex relationship with someone. So the dude that he was dating quickly, within a week, 2 weeks, bailed on the situation. And I told him, look, you were honest, you were upfront about something the guy was going to have to deal with, and being honest, you won't regret that. Now, let me talk about a different situation, another coaching session. There was another guy that I did a couple coaching sessions with. He was facing jail time. He had a third DUI. I call them DUI. I think they're called DWIs now. He had a third drunk driving. And basically, he was accountable and responsible for it. He's like, I fucked up. I messed up. And basically, I'm facing possible jail time and a lot of drama away from it, a lot of court dates. And he started seeing this woman. He was really into her. And he said, look, he said he took her out to dinner. They were seeing each other. Things were going really well, extremely well. And he's like, look, I got to be honest and upfront with you. He goes, I'm looking at jail time right now, and I don't want to get deep into this. And I'm in a jail for 2 years. I mean, some states having 3 DUIs. I don't know what it is in Hawaii, Jasper J. But, it's extreme. What you're facing is extreme. And so the woman he was dating actually applauded him and said, no, I'm here with you. I really appreciate your honesty. And in those situations, In those situations, I believe you're doing the right thing because when you're being honest about serious matters that can affect your relationship, like if your parents are extremely devout in their religion and let's just say you're dating a Christian and you're a Muslim and your parents vice versa will not be acceptable of that other religion. It's not necessarily that you're going to say this is going to be the end of the relationship, but you got to get out in front of it and go, hey, this is something we might be facing down the road. And I think that's extremely mature, responsible, and attractive in some ways. Now, now in this particular situation where this young man, it was his first open gay relationship, and he knew his parents wouldn't be okay with it, and he was living at home because he's in his early 20s in college. His situation was tough. That being said, I believe he did the right thing by being honest, because that's a situation where I said, look, if you're not honest in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, your parents, and this guy's into you head over heels, and you bring him home and your parents, shun him, your relationship will be over after that. There's certain situations where you should be honest. The guy that's facing jail time early on in the dating world, he's like, look, I'm facing jail time here. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just want to let you know what you're getting into with me. That is extremely mature. That could be attractive. In those situations, and the question I got from this other guy was, so should I not open up in the future? No. I think, first of all, you need to be, with stuff like this is what I always want to get back to, with stuff like dating advice and relationship advice. You need to consider the source and what people are trying to get. So if you read a dating book about dating, consider the source, the author, and what they want to help you with. So, for example, a pickup artist, a PUA or PUA, their tactics for, and Ruthie, how you doing? And I'll get to your question in a moment. Please be patient. Their tactics are going to be skewed and made for someone that wants to date for quantity over quality, someone that wants to be dating multiple women. Is there a big problem with that? No, but you just have to realize if you're looking to marry someone and you have a certain morals and values, then maybe some of the dating tactics that are lined up in a book like that won't apply to you. So always keep that in mind. I like the idea, like when I recommend someone read The Rational Male, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Models by Mark Manson, I think it's a nice mix. I'm not telling you to make any of those ones a dating Bible. So I want to be really clear. People will go, well, do you agree with everything on this? I don't agree with everything of anything. I like to pick the pieces I want, and then I question things where I'm like, I don't know if this adds up. That being said, it's nice to get like 3 different perspectives, like those books I just mentioned. It's 3 different perspectives, and you can take what you want. And you should be reading the book you should read the book all the way through that you highly question, right? If you're, for example, No More Mr. Nice Guy, there's a lot of guys out there that are just too nice. Leslie, Ruthie, maybe you guys agree. You've been in the dating world. Guys that are too nice will lose a woman's attention sometimes. Right. And so they got to get to the bottom of what's being too nice. And that's a great book for that situation. Now, some guys, when I tell them that, they'll be like, well, I don't want to be an asshole. I'm not telling you to be an asshole. I mean, I'm just saying, obviously, what you're doing right now is not working. So why not look at this perspective? So getting back to this question. So in this particular situation, or when should I be willing to tell someone more about my life? So if you're dating someone, you're getting to know them. I say this. It depends on who you are and where you're at in life. So if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you have a career, you maybe have 1 kid, you're not going to keep, let's say you have a kid from a previous marriage. You're not going to keep that out of the conversation to be fucking quote unquote mysterious. I understand when people have circumstances like that, they need to be upfront, because it's not going to be 6 months down the road and go, yeah, surprise, surprise, I have a kid. Was that mysterious? No, I would have liked to known about that. Because it's a serious matter and someone should know up front, and someone should be on board with that and agree. And this is what happens a lot. People go, I told him I had a kid, or I told him I had 2 kids and he said he was up for it, and then we broke up. That doesn't mean he wasn't up for it. It means 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 1.5 years down the road, after further review, he wasn't up for the whole package. He won't say that. A lot of times a guy won't say it. oh, it was just about the kid. It wasn't just about the kid, hon. It's a lot of times it's about the whole package. It's about who you are as a girlfriend also. And so, or a partner. So that being said, I do believe certain things you do need to be upfront with, because otherwise they're going to absolutely sabotage the relation later on. So there are certain things you should be upfront about. Um, I just noticed that with people I dated after, I've been much more reluctant to share info about my personal life. So this individual was saying after he got burned, after the individual he liked and he was seeing for a while broke up with him instantly, well, a week after, basically he told him that his parents wouldn't be very. And let's dissect this case. And I don't think he minds if I mention this. Basically, this guy is 20, 21 years old. He's in university. His parents aren't accepting of him being gay, and he lives at home. So he lives at home. So the idea of him dating someone at some point, he doesn't have anywhere else to go or to visit his parents. He needs to be upfront about that with someone he's seeing, because they're going to eventually go, well, where do you live? Can I meet your parents? This, that, and the other, and then the hammer drops. So what he was surprised about when he said, well, he was just really mysterious and he was very attracted to this guy. And I said, well, this is being mysterious, and women tell me this too. And in one sentence, a lot of women will go, oh, I wish the guy would be more vulnerable and show his feelings. On another note, a lot of women that I talk to are like, yeah, there's just something about him. I didn't know everything, and there's a little mystery there. I hear that a lot. Now, how does that become attractive to a woman? It gets a hold of your imagination. It keeps you in anticipation. It's a cliffhanger. It's a series that you want to see the next episode. You follow me? And mysterious, like, you need to know your definition of what mysterious is, right? And if it's too far, if they're leading to certain things that you don't like, then you probably have to ask the question. So it's up to you. Let me get to Ruthie's question. Does being mysterious cared by stubborn people, or people have an avoidant style? Can you reframe that question? I'm a little confused by the way you said it. Does being mysterious cared by stubborn people? What do you mean by that? I think that men that do pretty well with women, and what I mean by do pretty well with women, they don't have a trouble attracting women. Maybe you might apply this to a pickup artist. They hold their cards tighter. They don't reveal information very quickly. They let the women do the talking a lot. They do a lot of they compliment. They use something called a nag, which is sarcasm and joking. And it takes a little bit while to get to know these people, and the mystery is what's attractive. Mystery doesn't, if you're in a long-term relationship, I think Azam, Rob, I'll get your opinion on this too. If you're in you get into 6 months, a year, 2 years, the mystery starts to dissipate. This is an early attractor, if you will, a spark. Mystery method, I'm familiar with, Azam. The early part of being mysterious will be a spark, if you will, to the relationship and the attraction. But over time, if you're going to have a long-term relationship, and I would say at 6 months, 8 months, you're starting to get to a point where you're like, all right, we can see ourselves maybe being together for a while. We really get along, whatnot. The mystery will start to dissipate, because there's only, you're not going to sit there in conversations and be vague and things like that. Eventually, you're going to connect deeper and deeper and deeper, right? So that's where it kind of changes. No worries, Ruth. Like I said, Ruthie, if you could reframe that, I'm a little confused about the question. Mystery works at the beginning, depending on how it's done. Okay, I didn't even read that yet. Most that are not aware of how to use it likely will fail at it. And I would say that when I'm saying to be mysterious, and I'm not even necessarily, and the word can mean so many different things to different people, right? What you want to be is, I think Azam would agree with this, and Rob, more or less indifferent. And indifference leads to being mysterious, because like, if a woman feels like they can't figure out if you're into them or not, like you like them, but they don't think you're into them, I would say that that's mysterious to them. Like, for example, I remember I was dating a woman years back, highly attractive, high value woman. Um, and we started a date. We went out a few times. And early on, she was kind of like, well, I don't want to be Facebook friends with you because I don't want anyone to think anything. I'm like, okay. I didn't even go why, or let me see your Facebook. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not really into Facebook that big either. No big deal, right? It wasn't a red flag. Wasn't a big deal, right? Um, Another time, a woman I was dating was like, actually, I have a son, or something like that, and it was just a shit test to see how it would react. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, and then she proceeded to tell me she was just joking. She wanted to see how I reacted to it. The indifference I had, and then down the road, the same woman I was dating, one time she invited me out. She's like, "Oh, I'm in the area. I'm with a friend. Did you want to come meet us for dinner? I'm right down the road." Da da da. No, I got plans. I waited about 10 minutes. No, I didn't have plans, but I didn't want to seem like I'm on call. And this kind of surprised her. We had the previous week, we had a couple really good dates. And I could tell things were elevating, escalating, getting better and better. I could tell attraction on both my side and her side was up. And I did want to see her, but at the same time, I didn't want to just be available. And I could tell that she was like, okay, kind of like, it wasn't a rejection. It was more or less like, I'm not always available. I have other things to do. And that could be under the mysterious umbrella also. It's something that needs some practice plus understanding of the psychology behind it, like Azam said. I meant mystery method. I went through that material as well. Some good info there. You can keep it even after years. You have to be a bit of a jerk, disappear every now and then, no response to text for a while, then come back like nothing happened. Yeah, I mean, women hearing this would say like, oh, if a guy treats me this way, I wouldn't stick around. Like, I hear this a video I have, scarcity is attractive. The amount of women that comment on, oh, if a guy did that to me, I would just never talk to him again. Okay, fine. I mean, if that's how you are. That being said, you have to think to yourself, why is it attractive to women? Why do you think it is attractive to women? Zom, Rob, what's your take on it? 3 YS down. How you doing, bud? Or lady? I don't know if it's a woman or a man. Why do you think it is attractive? Indifference. The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I've never heard it that way. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping. Now, when you got that, then you have the attitude. It's one of those things. Let's think about it like this. What would be the most impressive thing if you witnessed, this is random, but I thought about this before. I don't know if this lines up with what I'm talking about, but stay with me for a moment. What if you're at work and someone's about to get in a fist fight, adults, right? And you're at work and one guy on one end just being a fucking asshole, excuse my French. He's just being a jerk, and you're like, wow, this guy's going way over the top with the insults and this and that. And the other individuals standing up for themselves, but they're not making threats. They're being logical. They're holding their ground almost in a way like, okay, let's say the guy's name's John because it's just a common name. You're like, okay, John. Yeah, I hear you. No, I don't agree. They don't bite on anything, right? In other words, they're listening to the argument. They're getting attacked verbally, and it's just like bulletproof psyche. That's impressive. Now, let's look at another, if someone could just sit there and go, yeah, okay, and they can just stay calm and level, and someone's attacking them, even as a spectator at work, you'd go, damn, let's say it's John and Dom. You go, damn, Dom handled that fucking pretty good because he didn't wilt. He didn't say sorry. He didn't plead his case. He just went, okay, I heard you. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with you. That's strong. Let's take it another level. Let's say John punches Dom. Obviously, everyone at the work would go, Dom has every right to punch John back and really get him, right? And some people might even be going, oh, I hope Dom kicks his ass. John deserves it because he's been talking out of his ass. On the flip side, let's say John punches Dom with everything he's got, and Dom gets up and he goes, is that all you have? That's impressive. If he could take a punch, which isn't very common, because once someone gets hit physically, it's usually curtains, right? Someone's gonna swing. But if you can do that, that's impressive to me. Now I had this happen. This is about a year ago, year and a half ago. I was playing pickup basketball. When I mean pickup basketball, I was at a school playing on a court at night where all these guys, various ages, we're all in our. I mean, there's late teens all the way up to people in their 40s, I guess. And so there's this group of guys. They're all friends, so they're kind of their own little group. So just like people are kind of tribal and the mob takes over the mob, they come in a group of like 14 or 15 people and they play every week and they're kind of buddy. I go there, I got one other friend with me, and we're all different cultures, by the way, too. So we're playing, and the way I play, evidently compared to the way they play, is a little rougher. There's more fouling. There's more physicality. It's basketball. Now, when you play pickup basketball, stay with me on this. When you play pickup basketball, there's no referee. So everyone's calling their own fouls. So there's a lot of bickering and bitching and moaning and arguing, which is common because there's no referee in my experience. So I go up, I foul this guy unintentionally. I was going for the ball, foul him kind of hard. Keep in mind, I'm just bigger than the guy. So the foul was, he's a little bit smaller. So I'm not even paying attention after I foul him. And I think I said sorry or something because I was like, yeah, it's a foul, and I turned my head. The guy throws a fucking haymaker. If anyone knows what a haymaker is, we got a different audience here. Maybe you don't know what that is. Just an over-the-top, not a punch like this, like an over-the-top punch. And I just hear him, and they're like fucking yelling. And I just look up and I just go like this, just instinct. And he kind of hits my back, right? Doesn't even hurt me. And everyone's like jumping in between, telling the guy to calm down, right? I didn't even fucking flinch because the punch, number one, I didn't see it coming. Number two, I wasn't angry. I mean, I thought the guy was out of line. I was like, I fucking fouled you. You get the ball back. This is way too much. I didn't make him bleed. I didn't hurt him that bad. And by the way, he's got about 10 or 15 friends that are with him on the court. So if I do fight him and I do kick his ass, which was a strong possibility being the size of this guy and the age of him, he's got his little buddies to back him up. That being said, I had no interest in it. Well, because number one, I wasn't angry. Number two, I was like, all right, I fouled you hard. Number three, when he hit me, it was nothing. So everyone was like, oh man, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, I'm fucking fine. I'm fine. And even the one buddy that was with me is like stepping up to the guy, like, hey, don't fucking touch my. And I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. Now in my head, I was like, do it again and see what happens. But I didn't say anything. But my point was, the other guys that were there respected the hell out of that because they were like, wow, dude, you took something like that, and I was neutral. I didn't say like, hey man, I looked at him after. I said, I told you I was sorry for that foul. And then I just looked at him. And then after the game, he came up to me. He's like, sorry, and I was like, you didn't even hurt me. Now, when you're being indifferent, that's a strong example of it where you're just like, look, dude, didn't really affect me. And people can be surprised by that. They can be surprised by that. But I do think it's attractive, right? If a woman was watching that game, would she have liked you to get in a fight? Or would she like the idea that you took maybe a punch and you took a punch and I went back to him. I was like, I said I was sorry, and then everyone's backing off. I wasn't even heated, but I wasn't fucking scared. See what I mean? The moment you don't control the uncontrollable, you become woke. Good point, dude. Jen, how you doing, hon? I hope you're well. Um, Disappear, no response to text for a while, then come back. Indifference. Okay, we talked about it. It is attractive because it conveys high value. Ignoring is conveying I can live without you. A boss can ignore his employees, but an employee can't ignore his boss since he needs him to get paid. That's a great point, Azam. To be the worst enemy to someone, consider him unworthy of being your enemy. Disdain the things you can't have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. I think beating his ass would have been attractive as well. Yeah, probably. I'm not saying that. You're right. It could have went the other way. The worst thing is for me to say sorry 15 times or run away, right? I'm saying either thing where you stand up and you go, you know what? Like I said, fucking didn't even hurt me, right? So getting back to this mysterious thing, if you're the type of person, and there are people like this, and this depends a lot on where you're at in life, that wants to really get into things, there are people that like to talk, like to share a lot about themselves in the first couple dates. There are people that are naturally vague, they don't give a lot of details. Uh, for example, let's say that there's a guy a woman's dating and the guy never says anything about having money. He doesn't convey that he's quote unquote rich or of upper class. The car he has is maybe a middle of the range car. And then finally, after 3 or 4 dates, you go back to his penthouse, at the top of the hill that's worth $1 million, and you're shocked. Are you more shocked that he didn't say anything about it, or that you didn't think he was the type of guy to have that? Is it more attractive that you found out and you were surprised? Or would it be more attractive that on the first date he tells you, I got a penthouse? Did you see my car? I don't know if that applies about being mysterious or just being humble. But I believe that the mysterious part has a lot to do with just a woman being attracted to a guy that she can't tell if he really likes her, he's into her. Some people might think that's being tricky or gameful. The reality is it works in a lot of cases. The intentions should be checked at the door, though. Keeping it silent is attractive. He didn't feel he needed to brag. Internally validated. External validation is not attractive on men. Just understand, whoever you consider worth if being your enemy, then you and him are equals. Therefore, choose your enemies carefully. That's a great fucking point. Azam, you should write, bro. And in that situation on the basketball court, I did not consider this individual my equal. He was smaller than me. He just threw a hard punch from him, and I don't even think I didn't even have a fucking bruise. And I don't know if he was going for my head or what. Just the style of the way he threw the punch was pretty weak. And so, no, actually, looking back on it, I didn't think of him as an equal. So that's a good point. It was like everyone was like, "Whoa, calm down." I'm like, I'm not even nervous about this situation. So I'm opening it up for questions. Ruthie, if you're still on, can you reconvey that question? Leslie, how you doing? 3YS Downs on deck. Jen's on deck. Okay, cool. That's why it is pitiful when a guy fights a woman. He puts himself on her. Oh, that's one of those things. Doing coaching and stuff. Once a guy says he's been abusive or something like that, I'm like, you're not going to win this argument or make me believe that you had a good reason. I just didn't grow up that way, so I agree with that. I don't know if it's because of that reason, but yeah, the never hit a woman thing's always stuck with me. I had that taught to me as a young I was about 10 or 11 years old, and I smacked my sister was 5 years older than me, and she was teasing me, and I slapped her. And my dad pretty much gave me a pretty good lesson on why not to do that by smacking me pretty good myself. Okay, so let's see if we got a couple stories on deck here. Some people were asking in a couple emails about the live coaching sessions and how to go about that. Please just go to writemac.com is the best way to do that. If you're looking for, which one we had here? So this is another situation that comes up. People do this thing when they're in a breakup where they go, oh, this stuff, they come to the live stream, they go watch different channels, they go to different websites. I get it. I've been there. This is why I do breakup coaching. But I will say this is what I noticed recently with a few clients this last week. They've been having difficulties, problems, the mouse wheels running in their head. And you know what? They didn't wait. They're like, yeah, it's been a couple days. It's been really bothering me. So I booked a session. They didn't wait on it until because I have some people send me emails like, I need to talk to you right now. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. I might be able to talk to you in 24 hours. I mean, I have accommodated people like that in the past that are past clients that I know and I have compassion for if there's an emergency situation. But the idea that you waited and you didn't book a session up front, this guy sends me this. He's been on the live stream before. He's asked me many questions on email. Hey, coach, can you please contact me? How much is it for coaching live? It's like, he's asked me this question before. I've told him about the website. Do you have Zoom? Because I can listen to all my calls on my phone. I have Zoom on my computer. So listen to this. Let me just go back to this real quick. And Ruthie, I saw you had a question. I'll get to it in a moment. Hey, coach, can you please contact me? Notice this is, I'm someone that provides coaching to other people for a service. So I'm there to help you, yet I need to accommodate you right now, right? How much is it for coaching live? This individual's asked me this question more than once, and I've given him the website, which if you can read and speak English is pretty crystal clear. Do you have Zoom? Because I can't listen to calls on my phone. Again, accommodate me. I have Zoom on my computer. I'm in the need of help, big brother. Okay, so I want, help me. No problem there. The problem is when you go to someone for service or help, okay, you need to be in a position where you're like, hey, are you available tomorrow? I really need your help. It's not like, I need your help right now. This is childish. Hey, what's your price? Didn't I tell you before? Hey, can you talk on Zoom? No, I prefer FaceTime and Skype. Oh, I only like Zoom. Well, go somewhere else. I mean, this is the kind of stuff where you're like, I'm not surprised your girlfriend broke up with you. It sounds like it's all about you. I mean, my ex is stubborn, so sometimes he doesn't show any emotions. If so, are you trying to get mysterious? I mean, he doesn't care at all. Okay, so you take that as your ex being stubborn. A lot of men, not all, don't show emotions half as much as women, myself included. My father 10 times over. And it might make a woman think that you don't care. It's all it is that people operate differently with emotion. They convey emotions differently, and their interpretation of showing emotion is different. That's a big one, Ruthie. So it's not necessarily just a tactic. It's just how the way men are. And what I would say, if you're in a relationship, so my ex being that someone that you're with, okay, instead of you kind of dancing around what you want to know, ask more direct questions. As a woman tends to do this thing, not all. Women tend to do this indirect thing where you kind of bring something up, but you don't ask the real question you want to know. I would say with a guy that doesn't show any emotions, You don't necessarily, hey, why don't you cry more? No, that would be the worst thing to say to him. It would be more like, um, did that upset you today or something? I'd have to know the direct situation of these things happening, Ruthie, to know why. But direct questions would help rather than assuming someone's sad and they're not showing it. This is what a lot of people do in relationships. Oh, he's this, this, and this, or he feels this. You know that? So I don't think, Ruthie, to answer your question, that this guy, if he doesn't show any emotions, that doesn't mean necessarily that he's trying to be mysterious. That probably comes by the way he was raised. So, or if he was in the military, they actually, military, police, firemen, they teach you to be in highly uh, pressure packed situations. And in those situations, like if you ever see Jocko Willnick, I think his name is, Navy SEAL, you don't want emotion in the way of logic. And so I'm guessing that he's an extremely logical person. And so that's why he probably doesn't bring up emotions as easy. He's still a human being and will show it. I mean, he doesn't care at all. Now, keep in mind, Ruthie, I do have a good memory and I do remember your story. And correct me if I'm wrong. He had tears in his eyes when he was taking you to the airport. So there is something there, right? Every human being can be sparked by emotion, even the hardest of people. And that's another thing. Certain people are triggered by past events in their life about new emotions. So so if someone, let's say for example, a dog gets ran over. That's a horrible thing, right? Some people laugh at that shit. Like, oh shit, a dog, and you're like, what? Because they never owned a dog. They don't really care about dogs, and it's not a big deal to them. Someone else would pull over in the street, make sure that the dog was buried, and put a cross on the grave and say a prayer and spend 48 hours crying about the dog because they had a dog when they were a little kid that got hit by a fucking car. You follow me? And so that's the big difference. If someone's not showing emotion when you show emotion, it just means from their past experiences. But overall, men as creatures just show emotion less, and it has to do with their upraising. Jasper J is probably one. Jasper J is an ex-Marine, or I'm sorry, not ex-Marine. You're a Marine for life, right? But I would say that in the Marines, you don't show your emotions very easily, and that's probably trained into you. What's up, Mary? What's up, Jamal? It's been a while, bud. So my ex unblocked me on Instagram. I was on IG and her profile showed up. I had to go on her profile to block her. I saw that she had highlights of her new boyfriend. I disregarded that and promptly blocked it. Well, you did the right thing 10 times over. Do not put yourself in a situation where you have any access to that kind of mental junk food when you're in a breakup, Jasper J. That's the only power you do have. Jasper J, I got an IG account right now too. If you want to join mine, Coach Mac McCarthy. He sounds annoying. Mary. What are good examples of asking a good direct question? Did you cheat on me? Are you seeing someone else? Instead of like, let me see your phone. It has nothing to do with the guy, but everything to do with Ruthie. His non-caring hurts the ego. As in, did I not affect you as much? Was it that easy to move on? It has nothing to do with the guy, but everything to do with his non-caring hurts the ego. My opinion of that, Azam and Ruthie, because Ruthie was mentioned, I would say it's situational. So it depends on the situation. Just like when we go through your story, Ruthie, and I'm going piece by piece, situation by situation. So I wouldn't generalize that as all that. I respect Azam's opinion, but I would say it depends on the situation. What's up, Tommy? TW? T Willis? What you talking about, Willis? Being mysterious is attractive, but you can't be doing that for a long-term relationship. Absolutely. We talked about that early on. I know you just stepped on, Jamal. I agree 100%. Lala, what's up? How are you? Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm not encouraging people to go out of their way to be mysterious. Okay, because if you're trying to do it, you're probably going to fuck it up. If you're just an individual, especially a man who has a lot of outside things going on in your life, uh, and you don't feel compelled to share everything in the first date or, I don't know, month, then that could be attractive to a woman. If you start going out with a woman for 5, 6 months, 7 months, then I mean, yeah, you're no longer going to be mysterious. Then it's just going to become, this is not attractive any longer. It's more of a spark. Did you sleep with her? I don't know what that's in regards to, Mary. Um, so we got 13 on deck, 6 likes. I appreciate it. Today's topic is mysterious. Being mysterious, is it attractive? Why is it attractive? Should I try to be mysterious? I would say that you shouldn't try. I would say that if it's part of, sorry for the late reply, my computer has been weird. No problem, bud. You asked for a direct question, Mac Daddy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That I didn't know what you meant, but someone else on the live stream asked what would be a direct question. So what would be an indirect question? Um, so what you have to do with a direct question is really, what do you want to know? Really, what are you saying? And so when people are less emotional and more logical, like a lot of men, especially men that are ex-military or police, it depends on a person's job, career, or upbringing. Would you agree, Jasper J? Um, but yeah, the military influences people by making them suppress their emotion. My father said, I don't know, Jasper J, because I wasn't. Tommy, I don't I don't know what, maybe you don't want to share. I just know you're in the military, but I don't know if you're a Marine or not. But my father said that one of the things they do when he was in training was that you need to make decisions. And so you need to make decisions in, quick situations. So make a decision. You don't want to be sitting there overthinking or overly emotional. I don't know if that's accurate now in the training, Jasper J. Um, But for my father in the real world, whatever that means, the real world, but civilian life, um, he can be impulsive about buying things and things like that. I think because that transferred over to that. Do you think she's good in bed? Like they would physically hit you? Yeah, my father said it was. My father said that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Full Metal Jacket, he said it was pretty accurate. Um, I know you probably saw that movie, so that's why I said that. Do you think she's good in bed? Would be a direct question. Sure. I guess direct questions just gets to the point, right? And if you think about it, do you are yes no answers, right? There's no real gray area. There's no really gray area. My dad was a Marine. He's no longer. Well, like I said, I think you're a Marine for life. But yeah, he was in the Marines and he was in Vietnam. Should ask a girl her body count. You're saying should you? That's such an interesting question because I think it's a big deal to guys in their 20s. And tell me I'm wrong about that. I hate the word body count because it conveys something like death. Body count to me is like something from war or something. It's like how many women have you slept with? How many guys have you slept with? But should ask a girl her body count. Do you really want to know? What's interesting about that body count question? I think it crushes guys if the woman's body count's higher than his. Then it's a real problem, huh? I've actually I went out with a woman for a while, really good catch, highly attractive, and her prior boyfriend, that's why he broke up with her. He couldn't let go of the fact that she had slept with XYZ guys and she had some one night stands. This is a mature woman, good job. She's not a floozy, she's not a slut or anything like that. Um, and this guy, like, she was like, so I told him the truth, which if you're asking the question and the what she's like, I told him she's a truthful person, right? And then he couldn't deal with the truth talking about Marines. You can't handle the truth, as a few good men. Um, and then she said, like, months later, they would be in bed, and he would be like, I can't believe you did that. And she was like, really? We're still going to talk about this? Like, I don't understand. And the guilt. And the reality was, this guy either had so big of an ego, or I think his ego was crushed by the idea that he just didn't have as many experiences. Because it was funny, when I was dating her, I didn't even itch to go, well, what was the body count? I remember thinking, like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? And the question is, once you get older, wouldn't you rather have someone that's more experienced rather than less experienced? It's an interesting question. Kubrick did a good job in representing the Marines during that Vietnam War. Good. Matthew Modine, Joker. FMJ 2001, The Shining are my top 3 movies from Kubrick. Is 2001 is 2001 the Space Odyssey movie? I've never watched that one. The Shining, of course, is great. You read The Truth from what'd you think? Did you read The Game prior to that? Are those 2 books I recommended to you, Jasper J? I think reading The Game and then reading The Truth by Neil Strauss. First of all, Neil Strauss he writes in a very entertaining. It's almost like someone's. How should I say it? It's almost like he's telling the story to a friend. So I have recommended that to people before, but the Truth was well written. But the fact is, he becomes this quote unquote player, PUA, PUA, whatever. And then in The Truth, he realizes that he has all these issues that has never addressed. And here's the interesting thing. Here's something really interesting. Most people that are doing something at a high level or an extremely high level, not all, for example, making a lot of money, are overcompensating for something that was neglected when they were a kid or a teenager, or something that they always viewed that they were bad at and then they became good at. So in Neil Strauss's case, he was quote unquote a dork, a nerd. He was going on Rolling Stone tours, or I mean, rock star tours, and he would be backstage with a backstage pass, and he couldn't even get a woman to wink at him. And he transformed himself into a guy that got no play, into a guy that was, pickup artist, and that's what the book The Game's about. And then he finally, the book The Truth, he finally came to a crossroads when he perfected getting women and being good at it. And he was having multiple women. He met a wife type woman, a woman that was so great, so lovely, so wonderful. And he ended up cheating on her because he needed to keep proving to himself that he was this player and he was good with women. And what he realized through therapy and through different things, that actually it was a giant overcompensation, that he kept trying to prove that he's good with women, he can get more women, and it kind of never stopped. And so I noticed this is one of the, so like people that make a lot of money, when I've talked about this before, $3 billion and you don't want to retire, fucking puzzling to me. I'm just like, you're worth $100 million and you keep wanting to work hard. Wouldn't you want to buy an island somewhere, make donations to a really good charities? I don't know, start a school, do creative work, live on a tropical island? No, I want to be back in the stock exchange and make another billion. Those people are overcompensating for something. Tell me your opinion on that. I don't want to know how many guys a girl has been with. Rather not go down that rabbit hole. I think if you can handle it, I think that men don't have as much a problem with it if they feel like they've been with more. And that brings up another question. So if you ask that question, do you want to reveal how many you've been with? And then you open up the question like, well, how is it? What happened? All these other things. So I highly recommend those books. It's higher. If it's higher, it's a deal breaker for some guys for sure. No, it was Mark Manson. Okay. Mark Manson is a subtle art of not giving a fuck. Yeah. and he has another book called Everything's Fucked, which is actually really good. Notch count is important to know for long term for me personally. I would agree. I would say that if you're in a long term situation, I don't have a problem with it. You should be prepared for the answer. And I would add that if you're dating someone, um, you might you got to be prepared for that. Um, I guess it could be long term thing. Rational male. The answer is always more than 3 and less than 100. Good for you, Lala. I like that. It's like Quentin Tarantino storytelling. Yeah, well, I mean, he's telling you the game and the truth are his personal stories, really. And the ironic thing in the truth, he's going to therapy, and they're like, "Oh, you're that famous author, and you're just going to use this for the book." And he's like, "I told him I wasn't going to do it." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but you did use it for the book, dude." I remember when I was listening to it on an audiobook. Neil ended up being a beta buck, settled down and married. Well, the interesting thing about what's the most successful? Dawn Jones were the worst with females. What's Dawn Jones? I don't. What does that mean? As I'm lost on that comment. I'm sorry. Great summary of the truth. Um, Thanks, bud. I have a good memory. Yeah, I thought that was it was an entertaining book though. Yeah, it was good. And it's something for someone to read that's chasing being a quote unquote player, which I think being a player or a pickup artist probably has a shelf life that most people, most human beings at some point want to settle down, whether they get stung for doing that or not. You know what? Spinning plates and dating and being a player takes a lot of energy, and it's okay to do that. But I don't think a lot of people want to do it for 50 years unless they enjoy making money. They are overcompensating. I was super insecure that my ex has been with more people than me, and I'm not gonna. I'm trying to change that. I think that guys, and I'm not saying this about you, Jasper J, and you don't have to reveal this. I think a lot of guys are more insecure with that if they feel like personally they wish they had been with more women than they have had in the past. They feel like they're kind of behind the 8 ball, that their lack of experience, they can be more insecure about that. Show me the money. I think your insecurity is justified and the game. What's up, Red Panda? How you doing? Unless you enjoy spinning plates. They enjoy spinning plates. Again, spinning plates can get old. And let me add, human beings can meet their match in the love world. I don't believe in soulmates, but I do believe you can meet partners that just knock your socks off. And the Corey Wayne words, he likes to say, knock your socks off. You can meet a partner where you're like, wow, this just lines up. Like, I've never met someone like that's done this for me or made me feel this way. And in that moment and in that place, the player of the player of the players can go, I want to marry this individual. I think that's possible. I think that's out there, and I think that's real. And I think that's why a lot of people, you have friends, family members, and colleagues that probably go, damn, this guy's really good with women. And then they settle down and you're like, what happened to this dude? I was living vicariously through him. I was thinking like, wow, this guy, and he settled. And a lot of times you'll be like, he settled for her? Like in the back of your head, you're like, you've been with much more hotter women than that. Because the reality is, looks do count, but a long-term partner is way deeper about connection and loyalty and trust. And it's more than meets the eye. And so sometimes from the outside in, you got a buddy, like I said, or a friend or a colleague, and you're like, wow, you settled for that one? You don't know the whole story there. That's part of it. She's with like 5 or 7 people, and I've been with none prior to my ex. Well, there's your issue. There's your issue. A lot, and this has been an issue for guys before, Jasper J. They'll go, oh, like they'll make this big fucking deal out of like, oh, I lost my virginity to her, and it was like a big deal, and she didn't even care. It's like, boo-hoo. Okay? You know what? At the end of the day, when you're 95 years old and you're on your deathbed, you're not going to go, oh my God, I wish I would have meant more to her. She was my very first. It won't fucking matter. It doesn't really matter that much. When you were in Little League and got your first base hit, does it even fucking matter anymore? When I was in 8th grade, we won a fucking first place championship for our league. It was a big fucking deal, man. We had to beat a team. It was really tough. It doesn't even matter now, right? I got my first coaching client 3.5, 4 years ago, and I was like, fuck, this is great. It doesn't even matter that much now. It was a moment. For some, spinning plates is a lifestyle choice. Sure is. I believe most people fall in love quite a few times. I agree with that, Jasper J. And some people can fall in love with activities, as weird as that sounds. You know, the amount of people that tell me that surfing is one of those things where they just get obsessed and that's all they want to do, or golf. A lot of people, when they get older, the sports that they fall for are they get obsessive with. Golf, surfing, hunting and fishing. Some of these things, people love these kinds of things. And I would say with people, I would say if you're living a full life, you probably will fall in love with a few people. I believe there's more than one soulmate. If you're going to believe in soulmates, then believe there's multiple. That would be a more useful way to move forward with your life. Soulmate myth is dangerous for men when it comes to end of a relationship. Some men try to take their own life over women. That's a sad statement, but it's true. You feel insecure because you are competing with the other 5 guys. Yes, and yes, I agree, Mac. Looks matter. I hate when a girl says, I care about personality. Looks is the number one to get women interested in you. I've known quite a few women that have said that they weren't very attracted to a guy and they ended up making it their boyfriend. So I think for women, I believe it matters less than it matters to men. It definitely lures people's interest, but the thing that makes someone swallow the hook, if you know what I mean, when you're fishing, something you get a bite. So it's almost like you're getting bites when you're attractive all the time, but when someone swallows the hook whole, it's usually connection, trust, the whole batch, where you're at in life. Can they see you as a life partner? All kinds of things. And it matters at different points in different people's lives. So what someone's attracted to when they're 21 and what they're attracted to when they're 31 and 41 and 51 will be different. I think I'm insecure because of a fault with myself. I'm trying to fix that by working on myself. Well, you're doing the right things right now by being on this live stream. I know some of my friends who have killed themselves because they have been broken up with. I'm sorry to hear that, bro, but don't be one of them. And if you get to that point, call me up, Jasper J. We've already talked a couple of times. No money is. It happens because guys invest her more than themselves, and when she coldly leave, it hits them harder than it should be. It happens because guys invest in her more than themselves, and when she coldly leaves, it hits them harder than it should be. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to look at hindsight 2020, this idea that guys invest in the woman more than themselves. It's really a blanket statement for a lot of guys that are struggling out of a breakup, but it's actually very true that they've let a woman define the biggest part of them, right? It's almost like a guy buying a bunch of expensive cars and showing it, like, did you see the new car I got and this and that? And you're like, yeah, cool. And it gets to a point where you're like, yeah, nice car and everything like that, but what are you doing? Well, is it more impressive if someone shows you that they got a new expensive car, or is it more impressive if they tell you they got a promotion at work, or they graduated with another degree from college, or they finished culinary school, or they're I don't know, or they're helping out with a charity in the Humane Society? Those things would be more impressive to me than you telling me you got a new car. Those are things that are going to invest in yourself, that you're learning a new language. I don't know. To me, a guy has to be charming. What's the definition of being charming, Mary? Likable? Like, what does that mean to be charming? As a rule of thumb, they fall for you the more they invest in you, not the more you invest in them. Bitcoin, that depends. He who cares less controls the relationship. That's the gospel. Dark days for me. Happy 4th to you, brother. Right on, Scotty W. Well, I hope you have light days ahead of you. It was 4th of July here yesterday in Thailand, and I had some, 4th of July wishes, but the reality is it's not really the same, being in another country, but I do appreciate it. I remember as a kid loving fireworks, and now I could care less about fireworks. That's part of raising men. Put women first, ladies first, put yourself first, and help the women that are worth it for you. Okay. What is that's charming. Funny as fuck. Someone that's just funny is charming. Unless any of those statements of someone else's accomplishments affect me, I place 0% value on what they mean. Mary, be honest, you prefer a tall, handsome guy. Jamal, honestly, I would say that I know that a lot of people throw out that they don't care as attraction as much, but I do believe that someone can fall for someone that they're not initially attracted to. 100%. 100%. Someone can become more attractive, especially if they're colleagues and they see each other 5 days a week, especially if they go on 3 or 4 dates. Now, they won't fall for that individual as quickly. Funny, guys get the ladies, it signifies social dominance. Hmm. Would you say that applies throughout life? And what would be social? Let me ask you this, Isam. What would be social dominance for women? Getting a rich husband? I also found interesting is when a guy is not attractive looking, women find him creepy if he speaks to them. Also find interesting is when a guy is not attractive looking, women find him creepy if he speaks to them. If it was he was 6 foot tall, good looking, chat off story, I've seen it before. All right, let me give you an example of this. So I had a friend growing up that was a good buddy of mine in high school. He's about 5'5", 5'6". Um, I wouldn't say a lot of women found him highly attractive. Uh, and he was very quiet. He was very quiet. And like my sister had met him before because he's a friend of mine. And other people had said he was quote unquote creepy. He had like creepy eyes. He kind of was a stare. He'd stare a lot, and he just wasn't talkative. But as a buddy and a friend, when we'd hang out in groups and stuff, he was funny. He would open up. But here's the thing, Jamal. He wasn't a pimp. He wasn't a Mac daddy. He wasn't a playa. He wasn't a pua. But he got women, and he got good looking women. Not a lot, not a lot. But I'll tell you what he had. Being shy, he was short. One thing he had though, he did work out at the gym, which a lot of short guys do. Um, he worked out at the gym, so he had a pretty good frame up top. But no, but I doubt many women would find him highly attractive when they first met him. But he would get women. You know why? Because when push came to shove, if he liked a chick, he would call her. He would ask her out. He wasn't afraid of rejection. And so I remember one girl he got that was really cute. She actually worked at a job I worked at, and he had came into the job, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she's really cute and this and that." And I was like, "She's got a boyfriend though." Da da da. And he's like, "Wow, she's cute, man." Da da da. I'm like, "Yeah, she's got a boyfriend." Da da. So she broke up with her boyfriend, and I was remember saying like, "Yeah, so and so fucking broke up with her boyfriend, right?" And I was even thinking of like not going out. We worked together, but I was like, "She's cute, she's this," but my buddy within a week called the store and started gaming at her. I think it was like within a week or 2 weeks of that intel. I forgot what it was. Asked her out, ended up making it his girlfriend for like a year. That was guts. That was balls. Some might go, "Oh, that's creepy," because I told him like she just broke up, or it's when she's vulnerable. Like I've said before, guys don't care if a woman's broken up. They look at it like fine. He ended up being with her for like 6 months or a year, and she was cute. She was hot. Uh, so the idea that a guy just doesn't look good, I think a way the guy overcomes that is to have the balls to get rejected. And there were some women he ended up hooking up with. I was like, "Damn, dude, you hooked up with her?" You know what I mean? But on the flip side, when we were younger, he had more guts than I did, for sure. Because he wouldn't look at it like, oh, I'm gonna get this one, but he was like, I'm not gonna sit on my hands on the sidelines. So I think that that's something. And women, you talk to women uh, like I do now, and you talk to them at different ages. And one woman was just telling me recently, she's like, we're just begging for a guy to make a move and lead. And I think that that's underrated. And you could be the best guy looking guy in the world, but if you can't make a move and you can't lead and you can't have some direction in your own life, you can get away with it when you're in your teen years and early 20s, just being good looking and not having to do anything else. But even then, you'll get found out. And I'm saying if a guy's not highly attractive, but he's got confidence to at least go up there and go, hey, did you want to go get something to eat? He's going to win. Yes, I like handsome and tall guy. If he can't make me laugh, then I'll get bored and it won't last for reals. Physical attributes are arousal cues for women. Funny guys are usually outgoing. Some colognes are also arousal cues. Sense of smell is underrated. Way underrated. Way underrated. Women actually have 20 to 30% stronger smell. I said that wrong. Stronger ability to sense smells. Has something to do with nature and whatnot. So if you wear the right cologne and a woman's highly attracted to it and you don't bathe yourself in it, you have a good chance of attracting her in that way. By the way, anyone have a favorite cologne? I have one that I've always used for years myself. They understand social cues and dynamics. Funny, beta, self-deprecation. Funny and cocky will do fine. Self-deprecation is bad. So if you're humble, you can throw in something about yourself, but you're right. Self-deprecation, you think you're being humble, but you're actually being pitiful. Again, the most attractive trait in a man is a take it or leave it attitude. I can walk away anytime and replace you attitude. It's true. Everything else is a bonus. Yes, got to smell good. You know what I used to wear was or use is baby lotion, which is like a nice clean smell. You don't just throw it all over your body. You just put it on your hands and your arms. And women will go, what is that? Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion. Some funny betas who outwardly express it are actually very sad and depressed. Some, but not all. Well, every joke's half true, Rob. You can tell the difference. Some funny guys are desperate. It's biological attraction, jawline, symmetry, face, good eye, because you have the health gene. This is how women will choice you during our hunter-gathering times. Yeah, but here's the thing, Jamal. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. Here's a news flash, and I appreciate your opinion, so don't take this personal. We're not hunters and gatherers anymore. So, you know what? So it is true what they are attracted to and why biologically. That is true. Symmetry, jawline, and all those things. But the fat, short guy could still get a woman with confidence, the ability to make money, because that's the ability to hunt now. So there are, because we're not hunters and gatherers anymore, there are guys, I don't know, someone like Donald Trump that just dates models, or there are guys out there that are going to overcome the hunter-gatherer thing because they make money or they hold a high stature in a group. And so that would be social proofing, and that would be the ability to provide. It still applies, but now there are other things such as social media, money, status. Okay, so you just made my point. When the funny appears forced, it's usually coming from a desperate frame. Well, here's the thing about being funny and having a good sense of humor. You know, growing up, if your friends and family members find you funny, and they will tell you if they do, then you're a funny person. If you somehow, you know, one of the cheapest ways to try to be funny is when people try to like recycle jokes or use cliche lines. So the way you could judge if you're a pretty funny individual is what people tell you they believe. If you want to develop being a little bit more humorous, then you need to develop a blend or flavor of humor that suits who you are. You shouldn't be going out of your norm. They're begging for the right guy to make a move. That's why I like salsa. I've never done salsa dancing. I haven't been much of a great dancer, but I believe something like salsa dance is a great way to get intimate with a woman and have some fun. It teaches you how to lead, how to maintain frame and direct the following on the dance floor. I'm with you, Jasper J. I've never done it, but I believe in it. Sure. My go-to is my go-to is Chanel. Okay. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene has a great chapter on the woman that built Chanel. It's pretty interesting. Creed, is that a cologne? Dior. Yes, the perfume version. It's still the jungle out there. Been wearing it for years. Isn't that funny when you pick one scent that you really like? The one I have, I've always liked, and it's probably one of the oldest colognes I think out there. Short guy can get girls. It doesn't matter. Confidence is supreme. Yeah, Zom's correct. Are there women out like I've heard women go, "Oh, he's a bit short," but the guy still gets women. Confidence is supreme. I spray on each forearm and dab it on my neck and chest. Yeah, you don't want to bathe in it. Sometimes I use John Varvatos. I don't know what that is. As long if you are 5'6" below and you don't have a good face, I've seen people that struggle, but it's sad. The ladies in the early 20s, savage, bro. Tinder has destroyed dating. That's a bad attitude. You know what's funny, Jamal? Are you saying that if you write that you're 5'6" or under on Tinder, that it just automatically baseball cards you into, oh, okay, I'm gonna skip that guy? It's funny because I always ask people when they use Tinder or these dating apps, and it's about 50-50. Where some people love it, generally younger people. Some people love it, and some people hate it. A lot of people aren't through the middle of it though. I do salsa so I don't have to stay home. I think that's a great thing to take up. Amber Morgan, how you doing? I guess you're friends with Jasper. Um, Tinder has destroyed nightclubs. Really? Yes, I tried for years, and I was so happy I found Chanel Lamb. I don't know that one. Isn't it funny? Something like cologne or something everyone can relate to. They savage because you put them on a pedestal. Never assume a girl is too good for you. If she rejects you as you aren't good enough for me, tell her thanks for not wasting my time, or just say okay. I mean, there's a lot of the true indifference is not getting thanks for not wasting my time. The true indifference is just going okay and walking like whatever. Tinder is convenient. I like to view it as I'm not the right person for the auction. Oh, for the audition. 5'6" guy on Tinder might be like a wow. So you think the fact that you have to put your measurements up there is what's gonna impede women from going out with those guys? I mean, there's good looking short women out there that won't mind a guy that's 5'6", 5'2", 5'3". I've actually dated a lot of women that are 5'3". I like women that are short. It's okay to be a jerk if she did it in a jerk manner. If she was polite, you could be polite. I see what you mean. The true difference is being indifferent. Yeah. Everyone's getting into the colognes now. Isn't that funny? I don't know anything about what perfumes are good or bad. I remember in high school, everyone used to wear Cool Water. That's got to be old as hell now. That's a strong cologne, man. It's a strong smell. Cool Water was really popular. Um, but I've always liked Obsession for men. I have 12 colognes collection. You smoke cigarettes too, so that might be part of it too. I don't always wear cologne though. I mean, I only wear it for a special occasion. I just dab it. But when I wear Obsession, I get compliments on it. And I'm like, it's one of the oldest colognes out there. Obsession was around since I was a little kid. The height thing doesn't really apply to women's status at all in most cases. I vape now, stopped smoking 2 months ago. So is that more healthy and less smelly? I wear that and Chanel chance. I love Escape, but they discontinued it. I feel like I'm cheating Chanel if I go out and look for other cologne. I don't know if it was. I don't know if Cool Water was popular in the Bay Area. I just remember in my high school years that was everyone had Cool Water. It was really popular. I had a lot of compliments for using Chanel. I had a woman buy me Chanel before. I don't remember loving it though, like I said. Um, Obsession for men gives off strong sex appeal, doesn't it? I mean, I just like the smell of it. I just don't feel like it's overly strong, and I know that I always just do a spray on the back of my neck and maybe on the side of the shoulders. I don't want to be draped in the shit. But I remember we could do a whole show on cologne one time, huh? I've remembered numerous times though, like a couple of my friends' girlfriends, when you give a hug or you say hello, and they're like, "What is that? What is that you're wearing?" And your buddy's like looking at you like, "What the fuck?" Dracar was big when I was in high school, really big. I actually like Dracar. Dracar, I forgot about it. That's the one in the black bottle. Hmm. But I would say for now, let's do coffee next. What's your favorite coffee? Yeah, it's random, huh, Jasper J. I drink iced coffee primarily because I started drinking coffee in San Diego, and now I live in the tropics where it's hot. I don't get into hot coffee as much, and that's what actually tastes better. If you get an iced Americano, you can't really get taste, right? We got 12 on deck, 8 likes. It's been fun. This is where the live stream turns into all kinds of things. CK1, Eternity, okay. I make Chemex black coffee. Is that something special? Chemex? I'm not familiar with it. Is English lather. CK1 I remember. Eternity I remember. How about Aquavelva from Woolworths? I've always liked to go out and get my coffee. Oh yeah, it's been 1 month. No contact, guys. Good for you, dude. Good for you, man. I know that's Jasper J. You just feels like a regular day. Good for you. And this is what I tell people: just go for a month if you're really struggling in the beginning. Not because it's going to get them back, not because they're going to contact you, just because a month's a finish line, and then see how you feel in a month. And you just said it. You're like, oh, feels like a regular day. Go for you. Go for you. It'll just get better and better. It'll get better and better. Don't you think Daisy Love is for night? So I wear it at night. Aquavelva. Canoe. Stetson. Actually, I used to like the smell of Polo, just regular Polo, the green one. That's an old one too. Everyone that comes on here that's random is like, these guys are talking about cologne. I thought this was about attraction. Geez, it became a cologne store in here. Yeah, I know. Random, right? Shows you, isn't it interesting? This should be interesting and some people that have an inability to have conversation. Polo is dope. Yeah, Polo, just a regular one, the green one. Uh, I came on here and I'm like, huh? Yeah, Yamel, I'm sorry. We just somehow it came up about cologne and then it just fucking went nonstop. Do you have any questions, on? I'll be getting off soon, off the live stream soon. This was just been busy, a lot of extra coachings. One day sometimes I just need to share you guys some of these comments people make on the videos. Let me pull this up. Actually, these are kind of funny. Someone wrote, I'm in my early 40s and I'm scared that it is too late to turn things around. And I wrote back, specifically, what are you trying to turn around? How to move on in a healthy way when you have children with a super narcissistic person. How do you do no contact with someone you share kids with? It's actually a really interesting question. But there are creative ways to be in no contact or just set up strict boundaries that you are just going to talk when the kids are around. Someone someone else writes, "Hey bro, I don't know if you remember me, but I got over my ex. I did a full no contact and stopped checking her social media, and 2 months later, I don't even think about her now. I have a bunch of other better options. Thank you for helping me get my balls again." So I wrote, "I remember you, bud. Balls can get lost during a breakup, but it's important to find them again and put them back where they belong." And then I just asked him if he was still trucking because he's a truck driver, I believe. But this other one said, "Do you read emails before booking a session?" So it's like, so you want me to read your email and approve if you can do a session yet? I'm interested, but don't know if it's worth it. Like this guy felt I've written out my whole story in hopes of healing myself, wondering if I could email it. So I wrote, "Okay, if you go to my services page on my website, it can give you further details. All live coaching sessions are refundable if you don't find them useful or helpful moving forward." Let me get back on here. Everything's going just fine, Yamel. I do have a question. How have you all figured out when it's the right time to start dating again? Okay. That's actually a really good question. It's actually individually based. So I wouldn't tell you that, oh, after 8 months or after 6 months or after 3 months. But if you've been on my channel before, I go with the theory of go on bad dates. What does that mean? Instead of hoping to find your soulmate or hoping to find the one or a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, go out with the anticipation that this could and most likely will be a bad date, but I'm just going to go on a date to get my ass out of the house and get out there and just feel like I'm with the opposite sex. Does that make sense? And I would say that I remember when I was in that horrible bad place of a breakup 10, 11 years ago now. And I was like for 3 months or 2 months because we'd lived together 5 years, this, that, and the other. I've talked about it many times. But I remember just feeling like I just wasn't attracted to another woman. I was just in a place I had never felt before where I was like, fuck, I'm sitting there checking the menu, whenever I'm with my girlfriend before and checking out other women, call it emotional cheating or not. But then you break up and you're like, wow, I just miss my ex. And and it's hard. But I think about 3 months, 3 or 4 months down the way, my friend hooked like we went on a double date. I've talked about this before, and it didn't go really well. Another friend told me about a girl I went to high school with that liked me when we were younger and wanted to go out with me. So it's like kind of lined that up. Didn't really have a good date with her, but they were all pretty much bad dates as far as a result. But being out with the women, I wasn't sitting there fucking throwing a tantrum or having, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, oh yeah, life sucks. I remember we went to the movie Hangover when it first came out, and this one girl was like, "Why aren't you laughing?" Because yeah, I mean, you've ever been in a breakup where you're just down, you're just not yourself. That's why I do breakup coaching. I know the feeling of when it's like a death in the family or a breakup. They're very similar. It's just hard to let go of. And I remember thinking like the dates they weren't good. I wasn't myself. I wasn't feeling great. But going on them, at least you had a story to tell your friends. At least you were interacting with the opposite sex. At least like if someone goes out with you on a date, they do have interest in you. So whether you make that happen into something else, someone doesn't agree on going on a date with you if they don't at least have an ounce, of interest in you. So that always feels good too. So what I say is, yeah, Mel, I don't want you to just go out with someone you're completely not interested in. But on the flip side, go out with no expectations and go out with the idea that like this is probably going to be a bad date or it won't go well, with the idea that you could be surprised, and just go out and have a good time and have fun. If you can't, that's okay. If you go out and you're like, oh, we went to this, steakhouse and it reminded me of my ex because he loves steak and all this shit, well, then that's fine. That's fine. You're gonna have to deal with that at some point. So I would say The minute the opportunity arises where your friend offers to fix you up with someone, or there's someone at work that's asked you out that you have minor interest in, go. If going on Tinder or one of these dating apps seems a bit extreme for you because that's kind of a different route, then hold off for a little bit. But if there's an opportunity that comes up that you're slightly interested in, go for it. Because even though it might be a bad date, it's still progress. It's still you getting out of the house. It's still you addressing the fact that, you have the opportunity to be single and go out with other people. So I wouldn't say that there's a time on that. It does. And I love that. I've never actually dated, like gone out with different people, et cetera, but yes, I would definitely feel so odd going out with a new person. Well, that's what you got to get over. So let go of the result of meeting a boyfriend or husband and embrace the fact of just going out with someone that's interested and having a good time. And then if you don't have a good time, here's the thing about dating. If you don't have a good time, or it doesn't work out, or you just aren't attracted to that person's personality or the way they acted, you don't go out with them again. Worst case scenario, if it's really bad, I've never had this happen, but I've had other people. This is when the infamous, like, your friend makes a call or you come up with some excuse and you just leave. You know what I mean? And the way to put yourself in a situation, Yamil, if you have big boundaries, go out for dinner, go to a public place. As a woman, you might be, with the dating apps and all that. I would say that you do need to be more careful with dating apps nowadays. I've had a few friends that have, like, met the guy at their house and hung out, and then the guy showed up at the house like 2 days later, and she's like, "Whoa, what the fuck? I shouldn't have invited him to my house in the beginning, right?" And the reality is, go out, have dinner. Dinner's the best thing because you can have a conversation. And then afterwards, if you want to get ice cream or you want to do something else, it leaves the door open, or you want to go to his or your place, fine. But you have an out. And always remember, you have power in dating in the sense that you can agree to disagree. You cannot like the person. It's totally fine to have a bad date, worst case scenario. I wouldn't know. Sorry, it's only been 1 month. My ex would know. She dated the next day, laughed my ass off. Well, you know what? Men and women are like that sometimes, and some people do not like to be alone, and their way of licking their wounds is to have someone else lick their wounds. Sorry if that sounds too descriptive, but that's just how some people do. Some people deal with it with drinking. Some people deal with it. I'd say this, Jasper J, if you're dealing with it with going to the gym, getting solitude, coming on my channel, you're going to come out the other side of this tunnel a lot better, and you're not going to settle for someone you don't really match up well with again. I would say that the longer the relationship, the longer the layoff till you date again. But what you want to do in the meantime is obviously improve yourself, self-improvement, all this shit, get your exercise up, but then also really get in touch with what you want in the next woman. It's like, if your girlfriend had a drinking problem, the next time around, you make sure the next woman you start dating doesn't down a bottle of wine in the first, 2 hours of going out. That would be a red flag. Like, oh, I've been through this before. 6 to 8 months is a good start of getting a new relationship. Dating non-seriously, you can do that within 3 or 4 months. I'd say that's accurate. 5 years is a long investment. Yes, it is, my friend. What about people that announce on Facebook they are official couple after 2 or 3 weeks of dating? Up to them. I mean, here's the thing about social media, Facebook, Instagram, everyone has different values on that. So I feel like that is not sustainable. They will be single for another 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, breakups can leave you with a lower confidence and self-esteem. This leads to bad dates. Sure. But those bad dates, you're at least making the progress of, like, seeing what happens. And then, like in my situation on the bad dates, I'm a social interactor anyways. So even though the date's not great or I'm not really into that person, I'm still, maybe they're a contact for a job in the future. I've had one client in the past that had someone he was seeing for 3 or 5 dates, and I was basically his dating coach after being his breakup coach. And he was like, I really like her. And then she dropped the hammer on him. I was like, look, I think I'm going to go back to my ex, but I really like you. She basically friend zoned him. and he was okay with it because he liked her as a friend. She ended up hooking him up with his next girlfriend. See how that works? Um, it is usually the one using the new partner to piss off an old one. It's too common, actually. I would think so, Sam. That's why I want to avoid social media. You don't want to just do it, just Jasper J. You should do it no matter what. When you're done, don't be on social media watching your ex. It's too many. It's a lack of information. She uses that to convey some message. Well, you never got the message. Anything your ex do ain't your problem. Mac Daddy, Hangover is so funny. Laugh out loud. How could you not laugh? Damn, you must have been really heartbroken. It was the first one. Yeah, I just remember like, and she had seen the movie a second time in the movie theater. It was the first one, and she was just like laughing. To be honest, I joke a lot and I have a good sense of humor, but I don't hilariously laugh at movies a lot. So I don't know why that is, but yeah, she was like, why aren't you laughing? Like, what, you don't think this is funny? I'm just sitting there like, wish it was with my ex, like in my head, right? But with the thinking that being in a relationship validates them as someone who wanted or desired. We talked about, like, consider another girl. I notice highly desired women handle rejection the worst. They aren't used to it, and they rely it on external validation. Yeah, people that are doing really well in their lives and they have a relationship go wrong are highly puzzled. They have a lot of trouble with it. But I will say this, they come out of it pretty clean. I remember I had one client, highly attractive, great job, had lots of money, lived in a great city in the world, and she couldn't figure it out. She could not figure out why this guy left her. We ended up figuring it out in the live coaching, um, and it really helped her. But she also within like a month had a new guy because she had guys knocking on her door every night. Mahalo, coach. People traditionally that went to clubs to meet people, younger people see Tinder as the go-to to meet and hook up. Okay. Last time I was at a club in Myrtle Beach in March and the music was happening, but people were whack. I'll be honest, at 39 years old, if I go to a club now, well, I don't in the Bay Area, I guess. I went when I was back home last year and I went out with my buddies in San Francisco one night and went to like three different bars. I don't even know if you'd call them clubs. It's just such a different scene. Maverick. We could have had him, man. We could have had him. The great Maverick from Top Gun. I'll fly when I'm good damn ready. He retracted his statement, but I already saw it. Last time I was at yeah, uh, you know, going back home, environments count so much. This is gonna be a big part of my book whenever it comes out. Is that a lot of your dating problems, a lot of your issues. Uh, some people are living in areas of the world or cities or suburbs or places that uh, just aren't good to be single in. And then they go, "Oh, this sucks." Well, yeah. Any closing questions? We're at a minute 33 in that moment. I don't know if that's lucky or not, Mary. Any closing questions? I got to get some lunch. If you guys want to join my Instagram, it's Coach Mac McCarthy. Uh, I go to clubs to dance. Well, go for you. Go for you. What style do you dance, Mary? Are you a hip hop dancer? What? When are you going live again? Hopefully tomorrow. But oh, actually, I have a live coaching session, 2 hours too. Usually in the wheelhouse. Probably the same time tomorrow, late. You got a quick question, Maverick? You like two women that you're dating and you can't pick between them. What a terrible problem to have. Why not continue to date them? Why not continue? Do you have to make a decision, Maverick? Do they know? That picture looks familiar, but I don't remember the name Maverick. I'll tell you when you call me. Oh God. Good for you. Good for you. Do you have to make a decision? No, you don't have to. Right on, Skinner. I appreciate you, bud. How's work, bud? Are you all right? You're still working at a grocery store in Chicago? Chicago. Is everything all right over there with the COVID and everything that's going on? Are you back to work? Are you okay? I dance to everything. That's impossible. Country music. Come on. K-pop's big over in Asia. Have you guys ever watched K-pop Korean dance? That's like the Backstreet Boys type stuff or the New Kids on the Block. I bet you're a big New Kids fan. Yeah, if you're dating two people, do you have to make a decision, right? Is it wrong to be dating multiple women and not be sure? No. No, not at all. Well, Skinner, I hope the NBA gets back on deck and decent. We can just have some basketball to watch again. I've to be honest with you, since it's been so long, um, I've you just kind of forget about basketball. Queen, I like Queen. Yeah, that's a great movie. Everything is good. That's good to hear, Skinner. I'm happy for you, bud. I'm working overnight. Okay, got the night shift. Well, I appreciate you just saying hello. You're good people. What time is it where you're at? 2:03 p.m. Yeah, I mean, the thing about the NBA too, they're gonna be their ratings are gonna be at an all time high because I don't think there's any other sport on, and I think it is a sport you can play without fans. When you're dating two people, pick the second one. How would you with the second one you started dating, or the one that you like less? That doesn't make sense. You probably like them for different reasons, and that's probably why it's difficult to choose. How do you feel about seeing as the NBA is pushing for Zion in the playoffs? Oh, that's not surprising. That's not surprising. He's the closest thing to the entertainment level of Jordan as far as how explosive and exciting he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's Jordan in the sense of winning. I'm just saying the way he dunks, the way he moves. Yeah, that's not. And the NBA is a business product, and getting him into the playoffs or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if the refs are on the take on that or whatever, but yeah, not surprising at all. Not surprising at all. And I didn't think he would be this good this early, but he's impressive. I mean, it's like the NBA. We have like five players right now that are just extremely exciting to watch, and I would say that Ja Morant is up there. Actually, Zion's up there. Russell Westbrook obviously is up there. Um, that kid from the Jazz is up there. What's his name? Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell. Zach Levine is not up there. Just waiting for Skinner's response on that. Um, But like just in terms of pure excitement, LeBron's up there, right? Because if you really liked the first one, you wouldn't have fallen for the second one. Who said anyone fell for anyone if they're just dating though? Would you say that you fell for someone if you're dating someone? I don't know. Let's check this really quick. Hmm. That'd be interesting, huh? That would be interesting. You have a direct question? I was just making sure you were listening. Levine's one of those. He's so gifted. He's there. There are some players that are so athletic that it almost looks too easy for him. Like it almost looks too casual. I really like Ja Morant though. I really like. I mean, he's shockingly good, and he's a winner. I think he's going to be really interesting. So. All right, folks, it's been good to catch up. It's an hour and 40 minutes. We had 11 on deck at the end. We had 8 likes. I really appreciate you all. Mary, it's always good. Rob, always a pleasure. Skinner, we'll get the NBA back on deck. I hope you get through your shift just fine. And Azam, always a pleasure. Yeah, Mel, get out there and start dating again, hun. If you're asking, that means you're thinking about it. So just jump right in. Jasper J, you're getting through it, bro. One more, that's progress, man. One more month, it'll feel that much better. Scotty W, it will get better. You know that. And anyone else I missed here? No, we got Jen was on for a minute. Amber was on for a minute. Wish you all the best. And it is curtains.